Not a common pick for Tempt or a common pick in the LCK, but playing with our hearts. The dragon is dead. Long live Azir. The Emperor of Shurima will come in, and we get the most standard of mid lanes once again.
A very standard draft overall. A lot of stuff that you see very, very often. Gangplank Gnar up in the top lane, Kha'Zix Jarvan in the jungle, Malzahar Azir, Ezreal Varus, and then of course Alistar Braum.
Well, I think KT lost all their goodwill after game 2 with the coach, so they went back to the tier list drafting. BBQ have some fearsome team fight choices. They also have good pushing in the top side, sort of draft where Trick could certainly have a big game. Varus Braum has so much CC from level 1 onwards, level 6 especially in the bot side. Gnar is going to be pushed up, so some counter jungling onto the Jarvan can happen. I'm going to be watching Trick this game because I feel like he will once again be the barometer of a victory or a loss for the side of BBQ.
Yeah. This also could definitely turn into a very long game that we've seen a lot of the time. You see the Gangplank there on the top side, Malzahar just playing it safe, as well as the Ezreal. They do have opportunity in the mid lane, a roam from Mata and Score coming in. They can definitely set up some ganks towards that mid side.
Mata's Alistar, very, very famous. Fans around the world know it, even on the world stage. Surprise double lift with his aggression a couple of worlds ago. On the other side here for BBQ, very balanced draft. Only the Kha'Zix stands out as more of an early game champion, and we'll see how Trick can pull it off. A lot of games on Zac, but the Kha'Zix is now his second favorite.
Yeah, excited to see what he can do. Gonna give it another shot. Here we go, guys. The countdown has begun, and let's get into game number 3 of KT versus BBQ. Okay, dodged the Q, but he still has to flash because they burn out the exhaust.
So rude, they don't even give the fans enough time to chant, but BBQ with the Braum rush in, Smeb has to flash away, and now the Gnar is an even happier place against the Gangplank in the laning phase. Deft fishing for a level 1 item, doesn't get anything.
Tempt decides not to go back home.
At 1 minute 10, so many things can happen if you force it back that it's very difficult to back after about 55 seconds or 50 seconds in the game. BBQ looking to re-invade their blue buff just in case there's any sort of shenanigans happening from KT, but all they will find is a ward, unbeknownst to them, of course.
Yeah, a ward that might spark some early plays, though.
This is some solo queue special right here. They, of course, don't know about the vision. They're going to try and take it. Let's see if Trick actually tries to body block from this side.
Ooh,
watch this one. It's about 130 damage.
Okay, the smite comes in.
I wonder if he just, I think he just spotted Ezreal on the corner, or maybe even the arcane, just the Q in air, the Mystic shot in air, and decided better of it. Smite confirms it. Level 1 blue buff would have been hell to deal with if you were BBQ, but Trick is able to stop that from being a disaster.
You could tell that they were suspicious, right? Pulled all the way into the brush, pulled out of the brush. They were like, okay, just in case. They were right, so good safety there from BBQ. Standing right on a ward. That would have been an unfortunate start for them. No blue buff for your jungler, no level 2. Blue buff on the Ezreal, can spam his Mystic shot even more.
If a KT, that was kind of supposed to be the equalizer for Smeb giving up his flash at level 1, because now Smeb will be under turret 100% of the time, doesn't want to deal with any sort of return action from Trick and Crazy in the top side. Does also mean that Trick is incentivized to take the top lane scuttle, start to invade the blue side jungle. Score is already power farmed his top side, so hoping for a Gromp or something is Trick on the top side, and he will find nothing.
Yeah, checks both.
He wastes a lot of time there.
Jarvan's looking for the bottom side. Ghost. Oh boy, he was clearing out that ward. I thought for a second maybe something would happen, but he's just gonna go for the Gromp on the other side.
There is a ward ping there coming through from Deft and Mata, so they now doubly know that Jarvan is there, and that gives time for Kha'Zix to get in position.
Okay, Ghost will flash out of it, but he's going to get this stun.
Oh.
Ghost, he doesn't have his flash anymore. He's not going to be able to get out of this one. First blood goes over to score. As a nice engage there from Mata to make sure that he could get the flash away from Ghost.
Yeah, the full information was there for KT. They act on it well. The EQ looks comical. It looks like he's pulling it far too aggressively, but it's just to block any sort of escape from either of them. Thought he might interrupt Ignar flashing. Ignar holds onto his flash. Ghost goes down. It all works for KT, and a lot of it was jungle pathing. Clearing his entire topside jungle, legitimately surprised Trick. He wasted a lot of time looking at the Gromp, then looking at the walls, seeing none of them there. And then the pathing in general bamboozled BBQ, and now a big lead. So nice play for score in the early game.
Yeah, already 1,000 gold with that first blood. Trick is gonna slap back here, taking some of the Raptors, all of the Raptors. Gets out of there, gets a nice deep ward as well. Let's take another look at this.
So in vision now is score. That's why BBQ start to walk back. Flash Pulve doesn't hit onto Ghost, but they just change target. Flash EQ from score. Just interrupt a flash from Ignar. Ghost was already down. No way for him to turn. No second kill. Nice stuff from the side of KT.
They make it look so easy, but the only thing I could say is maybe BBQ back off a tiny bit earlier. Even then, they probably wouldn't have gotten out.
Mata unleashed on the map already. Doesn't have his boots for roaming, but he does have the boots of speed. So the brown bag's enough to get into mid lane and see what was going on with the Azir. He has Ignite, so it's not quite the Thunder Cow that was the special in 2018, but Aftershock's kind of like a Resolve Tree version of the old Thunderlord, so you'll take that. Electrocute just too much for Mata as he's still engaging.
It's a nice chunk of damage, but 3 potions here on the side of Ghost. Although he is getting poked out quite nicely so far.
The thing about Mata's Alistar that I think no other Alistar in the world, even including the top tier ones like Gorilla for example, are able to match is that Mata has this unrivaled confidence in his own abilities. He will flash WQ anytime he sees an opportunity. Sometimes he looks silly, but I would say 8 out of 10 times he looks like a genius, and I think you take those odds at the highest level against some of the best players in the world.
They're looking for it. Gonna force the flash away from Pawn, who is only level 5. As Tempt just hit level 6. Take a look at some of his runes here. Takes Scorch. No Gathering Storm this time.
No value on the Gathering Storm, like you say, so going for much more the laning choice. He is also taking the aggressor role in the lane. Wants to bully out Malzahar and ensure that he's never full health and never has full control over his flash. When his flash is down, you don't have to respect the flash ult into Jarvan coming to lane. Smeb has got through the awkward part of the laning phase where he did not have his flash up and now has his flash and also the stopwatch to turn things around.
Ooh, threading the needle there. Still lots of health potions available for our neighborhood Varus. Score, though, getting deep in here, but Trick is coming on in.
Alistar and Malzahar are going to react first. Let's watch the bot lane. So far, only Ignar walking out.
Okay, it's getting pretty low. It's going to be a smite fight. It goes to Trick, though. Score not going to go for his own smite there.
A flash on Pawn to look for any picks. So they back away, and blue buff is off the Azir. That's a lot of pressure relieved off Pawn, you should remember. He has to lane with his flash down, but at least not against a blue buff Azir. Sorcery on Tempt. This is actually a bigger punish than you might otherwise expect. We've seen a lot more precision Azir, so you can go Presence of Mind. That means at least situationally on level up, you'll have the ability to use your full rotation, you know, WQ, Q a second time while the Presence of Mind is still there. But with no Presence of Mind, with the Sorcery, not having a blue buff is a significant slow in the wave clear of Tempt. Enough to roam up, and I guess he may just steal away a blue buff to counteract that.
Yeah, the pathing from Trick was his blue buff to the enemy blue buff before Jarvan could get there. It's almost like they knew and they just decided to give it away.
Well, they do have this situation where Smeb is never going to react first to any sort of engage on the blue. They are weak around the top side, so it's going to accept that Smeb is getting mostly free farm, 11 CS down, which, again, given that he laned for 4 minutes without flash, is pretty damn good. Boots for roaming are complete for the Alistar. Now we have stopwatches, so the turret dives can be even riskier than they were before.
Also a QSS done on Tempt, so not going to be burning double flash to try to kill this Azir, especially with the escapability that he has in his kit.
Big gold lead, but largely from the first blood that Score was able to pick up. Means he has Cinderhawk, so turret diving with an Alistair and a Jarvan, both with stopwatches, is ridiculous at this point.
Oh yeah.
Can also call on the orbital strike of the Gangplank ultimate. So basically, if you're Ghost, you really, really hope that you can stick some control wards and vision in the bot side, otherwise you're always afraid of being dove.
Yeah. Right as you were saying that, they pinged the one control ward that was in the river. Just got moved, actually, I think a little bit farther down into that brush next to Mata. So we'll see what angle they want to go for. If they do go for the dive in the bottom side.
They spot Jarvan on the top side. I saw some pings towards him, so that dive for now is not imminent.
Here comes Alistair to the mid lane.
Walking real fast, but he'll walk through a control ward.
He can give some support to Pawn as well. Take away some of that, but here comes Score. No can do, as Tempt is already playing quite passively.
Trying to put questions into the mind of Tempt with his snowball QSS. The kill threat's probably not there. Even with a whole lot of flashes, they're probably not going to be able to pick up a kill. But taking away the control wards and opening up the mid lane for a Malzahar roam is not a bad thing either.
Okay, here we go. There's that control ward. Trick is hanging around too. He might just face check this. You can see he's apprehensive right now.
They don't have wards of camp, so they don't know where he is.
You see him here. That's going to be the combo. He's going to want to jump over there. Even flashes away. Meanwhile, Cannon Barrage coming on in. Ignar decides to flash out of there. And nobody wants any part of this fight.
I mean, a lot of people jumped up there because at the same time as we were watching the Kha'Zix face check, the ultimate was shot by Ghost, thinking they were the ones that had the drop for the kill. In the end, it was the side of KT using more resources. A stopwatch now down on the Alistair, and also the Gangplank ult is down. They walk up with Malzahar. Extra wards here from the side of BBQ.
Score knows he's spotted now. Throws the flag, backs away. As we continue. Mountain Drake this time around, so these teams definitely will set their focus towards that eventually. Looking to potentially make a play towards Tempt in the mid lane as Score was hanging around and Mata was making his way up, but they call it off. Nothing happens.
That's accuracy on the Mystic shot, still A+. Haven't seen him miss one on screen just yet. Nope, that one hit as well. Let's watch him till he misses one. Come on, Observer.
Keep it going.
7 in a row so far.
Don't check the brush. You'll mess up your accuracy.
Nicely done.
Pawn getting more frisky in the lane. Not as scared this time around.
The more points in Q you have as Malzahar, the more control you have over the minion wave. I think all of us have felt the pain trying to farm with just E. 4 points E, 1 point Q is not happy times for Malzahar, but the more points in Q, you get a bit more comfortable. He is also trying to hug the side of the lane that his jungler is on, because his jungler is trying to solo down the Mountain Drake, as we know. Providing coverage just with his lane spacing, knowing that Azir cannot respond faster than him.
Yeah. It's the small things at the highest level. Glad we have you here to point them out, Papa.
I have my moments, Valdez. I have my moments. Can't catch them all, but do my best. Smeb CS getting to that predictable 25 CS down on the Gnar situation.
Gnar has to shop soon for sure. Sitting on a phase for now.
Stacking, stacking, stacking. Investing. Anamoon complete on Ezreal at a good clip. Probably around 16 to 18 minutes for the transformation. Trinity Force on next back from the Gangplank, but not a lot of turret damage done by Crazy is good news. Once you get that shot for the Black Cleaver, that's when he can really start raining in the pain onto the Gangplank.
Score. We've seen a lot of Drake into Rift Herald out of these blue side junglers, but it seems like first he wants to relieve some of the pressure on Smeb. You were talking about going back and buying that Trinity Force. coming up here might help him a bit.
Mada spotted walking into that brush. Now both brushes are warded.
Ignar going so unbelievably deep. He's got the help of Tempt and Trick though, but it might be a bit too late. He's got stopwatch this time though.
Will he die? He does.
He does. Just that ticking damage, and now Trick is a little bit too far forward. Deft is going to take him out. Up in the top lane though, Smeb getting low. One more boomerang might have done it there, but he decides to back away with his life.
Look like Crazy lost an auto attack to a minion when he attack moved after flashing. So he didn't flash, but after hopping in. So might have missed out on a kill from that, but we were watching Ignar go very, very deep because they thought they had double ward down. While Ignar was there first, Ghost was not. So him not being in position meant that Def could just come mop up the second kill onto Trick. So felt like it wasn't a full team commit from the side of BBQ, even though Ignar was certainly intending to go straight for it. They back away with KT 3-0 up in kills, more than expected given how this started. So we watched the replay here. There was already a ward near that brush. Now there's 2 wards in the area. Ignar face checks onto as Pawn actually has some of his ult damage cancelled out, but doesn't matter. There's also going to be the cannon barrage. Something was going to take him down. It was a late ignite onto the Braum. As we watch the replay here, let's see if we see the end of this. A lot of damage goes onto him. Watch here, yes, autos a minion. If he was actually going to get the 3rd proc with his next auto attack, probably would have been a kill onto Gangplank. So a small mechanical misplay by Crazy.
Also Smeb TPing right in front of Anar against the wall. Not the smartest idea I've ever seen. We're seeing a dive onto Nar red side top. A dive we've seen many times. No ward in that brush, so they don't know 100%, but pings are going out.
Where are those Malzahar and Jarvan guys at? Why is the red buff not taken? Because the red buff, as you can see, is in a BBQ ward. And it's pretty easy to problem solve. I guess it's kind of an underappreciated thing about pro players, the problem solving of what do we have vision of? What would a jungler do if he wasn't ganking? Okay, he's probably ganking. Where is he ganking is kind of the questions that very often go through the heads of players at the highest level.
Yeah. You can see Crazy just sitting under turret as they arrive. He's like, yeah, we know what you're doing. And the sad walk back to your lanes. You thought you were going to get a kill, but not the case.
A lot of gank attempts by Score. He's been very active this game. Not all 3 games have been active. Game 1, largely trading upon the pressure of Smeb. Game 2, not really doing much of anything. In Game 3, very high jungle proximity for the LCK. We often see numbers between 1 minute and 2 minutes, so 2.5 minutes is a lot.
This time Crazy, he's baiting the fight in here. He's a level up, he's got the minions, but look at Smeb, he's going forward. He has the help of Score. Trick is nearby. Flag and Drag is gonna be dodged, but you can't dodge the Cataclysm. Here comes Trick. The stopwatch is going to be used. Score with that red buff. They want to take down Crazy. Not going to use that Nether Grasp just yet. He's going to save it. He's going to get it onto Temp, but he gets a double knockup. 2 very low members of KT. Now Trick is going to stopwatch. In comes Ignar. Double kill though. In comes Mana from the top side. Just walking through the lane. Going to help out a little bit. And it looks like will be a 2 for 2 at the end of it all.
There's just so many people top lane in the early game with these extra teleports. Ignar, of all things, has teleport exhaust. Looks like he's trying to run it down with summoning spells like that, but he's wanted to teleport to the top side in order to be involved. Can turn the exhaust into a flash. Players can't be too attached to their bindings in pro play anymore because of all the trades, as Tempt is still here, surprises Score.
Yeah, Score, he flashes, but he's not getting away. Looks like we will have a turret taken, finally, down in the bottom side. Def gonna get all of that gold.
Imagine how nonsense the past 2 minutes of play would have been with the old runes. People randomly switching over to teleport, being topside, being outnumbered this early in the game. So many members having access to teleport very, very early. Lots of insanity happens, but when we kind of look back and see what occurred out of it, it was a kill traded for a Drake and a 2 for 2 is what happened here. So to start off, things start with Smeb and Crazy going very, very strong against each other, but this is very exciting. Remember, Braum at the start of this has flash. He's in the bot lane. He recalls and still going to get to all of this. Smeb first pops his stopwatch. There's more stopwatches to come. Pawn's able to clean up the kill on Crazy without using ultimate, so your first thought is, surely it's KT. But now Braum is going to sell his flash and teleport in to this particular fight. Everyone goes golden to buy time. Pawn's not going to be able to get away from this, even though he picks up a second kill. Alistair's threat's not enough. Ignite's tempt, but it's not going to take him down. Even just a factual retelling of what happened there was utter madness. But the end of it all is an extra kill to BBQ, an extra turret to KT Rolster.
Lots more gold going over to the side of Deft, a guy who wasn't part of all the shenanigans. Up in the top side, just farming his heart out. That's going to be a second Drake, but it looks like BBQ wants to trade it here for the Rift Herald. Deft, okay, he's going to check the brush by himself, sees the Braum. And in fact, they will stop the Rift Herald. 5 members of BBQ up towards the top side of the map now.
Yeah, one contest is going to make it a non-objective, with the timer being at 19 minutes into the game. They also get great positioning onto the mid lane turret.
Yeah, they got that Mountain Drake. Begin to poke away at the turrets a little bit faster. Oh, he missed the Q.
Confirmed.
We need to take away that 100%. We finally saw one.
Shield just procced for Deft around 17.5 minutes for the quest shield that will soon be a thing of the past, but for now is square in the middle of the meta. In all of this, we kind of not mentioned the name Tempt, who is 30 CS up and also 2 kills into the game. Thank you. Look at that, Spo
timing.
TV.
They're listening.
On my birthday. Thank you so much, Spo TV. But he's looking very powerful. Early QSS now does have his Haunting guys on the way to Leandri's.
Leandri's very, very close for him, you'd have to imagine. Going down south now to farm up a bit. Does see the Alistair, so gets the hell out of there right away.
I really need Ignar to get flashback. I'm uncomfortable looking at his teleport exhaust. It just looks ugly.
It's like, yeah, it's 2 colors that really don't go well together. There we go. Thanks, Ignar. He's also listening. Hopefully not.
His English is good, of course, now, so...
Yeah, he said hello to me. I felt warmness inside. It was cool.
Oh, you had a little moment there.
Yeah.
Well, the accuracy is back for Deft. That's 3 in a row. Oh, caps out at 3.
Yeah.
Map control here for KT Rolster all the way around the Drake. So lots of control bot side, not as much top side, which means that Smeb probably needs to get his running shoes on. Going for a very offensive build, you'll notice. No Sterix Gauge second. Going for Yoma's Ghostblade, I would imagine, of this build.
Okay, we are going deep. Oh boy, Ghost way out of position, trying to help save the turret, but did not see 2 members coming from the left side.
Ghost getting dunked on Varus is becoming a very common trait. The Galio game last time out against Rocks. Now here, it's getting absolutely annihilated by Mata coming in from the side as Malzahar used both his summoners to get in. So a kill onto the enemy AD carry means they'll get lots of lane control. They'll be able to push up vision. But where did KT want to attack next is the question that only KT can answer. Pawn feeling pretty good about hitting his ultimate skill shot.
He's really good at that, 100% ratio.
He's never missed his ultimate.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
In his entire career on Malzahar.
Professional player.
It's a stat nobody ever mentions. I wonder why.
Well, Smeb has the Yoma's Ghostblade we mentioned. First time we've seen this for a very, very long time because you're always in some degree of terrible matchup as a Gangplank. You never Gangplank into Shen anymore because you can even flex the damn Shen to the support role now.
Yeah. And I guess he has enough counters to the point where you can't just ban 3 counters on blue side and first pick it.
Let me tell you, if you try to play first pick Gangplank and solo queue right now, they'll find a counter pick for you. I'm still waiting for the Riven. Someone's going to get frisky and play it in Korea, I promise you. Riven has a happy time against Gangplank.
Yeah. See it a lot on the ladder.
What does it all mean is the question I think a lot of people will be asking. About a 3,500 gold lead for KT. For Smeb, it's 900 gold. The biggest lead of all of these is Deft, though, who is 202 and has Kleptomancy, so casual 3,000-ish gold lead there. I guess 2 and a bit is more realistic for Deft. The comp they have here is very, very good at getting picks. Very reliable at bursting that person down. Good teamfight options, but no tank. So getting an early lead is really big for KT because they can start to put down control wards around the Baron, which they do very quickly. So Baron buff obviously would be a lovely objective, but actually forcing the vision further, actually getting it into the enemy red side is difficult for this team. So for now, at least, just in the mid lane, pushing waves, also allowing the Gangplank to free farm as a decent backup plan for KT Rolster, but actually cementing a really big next objective is going to be relatively difficult for them.
Looking for Tempt here. Fortunately for him, he's Azir. Although that might not be the end of his woes, as we have another rotation.
Dead Man's Plate onto the Jarvan and also the Boots of Mobility Alistair means the first pick is not guaranteed to be over until you can see both of them.
Yeah. Dead Man's Plate, you don't see that too often in pro play. Every once in a while.
Usually a Warmogs in this spot.
Yeah.
But it's all about picks. It's not actually about having the ability to engage, back away, and Warmogs up your health, but actually about just getting the EQ and having faith that a Malzahar and Ezreal later, that'll actually lead to a kill, and that's really much more the priority of scoring this game. Always good to see people tailor their build to the situation.
Yeah, that's a bet he's willing to take. They're getting farmed up quite nicely. They are two of the best players for their roles as well. KT finally trying to make some moves towards that top lane turret.
And even just score clearing wards, even though BBQ know where he is, it's naturally going to lead to people backing away from the top lane outer turret, getting them more and more Baron control by having minion waves that can be pushed into the inner turret. So KT and following the KSV playbook when it comes to rotating your members and guaranteeing outer turrets in the mid game.
I love how KSV has become the word that you use whenever any team shows above average macro play.
I mean, they have very above average macro play, so even if you're just glancing at it, it's a compliment to you.
Cloud Drake up here. Might just send Smeb to solo that one. Maybe score. Got some pings going on there. No real threat for BBQ to sneak a Baron at this point.
We have a backup win condition, as we always talk about it, getting multiple stacks on, even if the Cloud Drake isn't high priority, and maybe Score will solo it down. Full tank Jarvan. He'll take his time.
EQing into the knockback. I've done that before.
Well, Jarvan gonna take his sweet time, and Gangplank will help to actually force there to be the next spawn of the game. There will be no Infernals this game. We now have Cloud, Ocean, and Mountain, and another Mountain at least is a high roll given the options.
It's gonna make going for these Barons a lot faster. See what they want to do. Right after that, Cloud Drake immediately coming over, setting down the wards near the Baron. And okay, Trick getting tricky. Jumping right next to an Alistar can be scary at times, but Mata actually respecting the fact that they didn't have full vision of everyone.
None of the threats were in range to actually do damage, so no point of Alistar to WQ, and just a bit of free damage from Trick if you go over it. Horn's gonna Ghost here. Really wants to kill onto Tempt. A lot of people lying in wait.
You'll notice that a lot of that vision in the red side jungle has been taken away by BBQ. Double control ward in there now to deny a bunch of that. It's part of the reason why before they weren't okay to start a fight.
It's almost purely kleptomancy, Valdez. That's actually extending the gold lead here for the side of KT. Haven't seen any big objectives go down since that outer top lane turret, but Deft and Smeb just poking the kleptomancy has led to bundles of gold for both of them. Snowball QSS up on his opponent number is Ezreal now.
Yeah. 8.2 Klepto is nerfed, but in the patch notes it says the drop chance is significantly decreased, but I didn't see a number. Do you happen to know the number?
I do not know the number, but I know there's been some trials done on Reddit and places like that to show that in the early game you're very unlikely, but from 15 minutes to 30 minutes it definitely jumps up quite a lot. Because Ezreal kind of gets the double wombo of being ranged, so a bigger penalty on ranged, and also the general nerf to all Kleptomancy situations means that his abuse case is probably the most removed by the Kleptomancy. Yeah. I wonder if we'll just see Unsealed Spellbook Ezreal to get around his inability to push waves.
Oh boy.
doesn't really have many other runes that suit him that well. Fleet Footwork could be considered, but it's the crit modifier in the late game that makes it a relevant late game rune, and you don't get crit on Ezreal, so I would think Unsealed Spellbook seems the most likely.
They're going for crazy here. Red buff on Deft, and he's not one that's going to miss his Mystic shots. Crazy doesn't really have anywhere to go here. That's going to be a nice 2-on-1 gank from the Ezreal from red buff.
You snicker about it. He's got the red buff. He's got the Blade the Ruined King. There was no running away from the Ezreal. They take him down very, very quickly. They're going to push up and threaten the inner turret here for BBQ, so they're not going to play around the top side. That's the one spot where perhaps Azir over a wall can do all the damage, but very nice things from Deft there in that situation. Look at the damage putting out here, just a single EQ, half health of Trick.
Imagine if every Ezreal was this good. Might see Ezreal nerfed a little bit.
He's nerfed on patch 8.2 as well, 10 damage. I think 20 damage off his Mystic Shot at level 1 is pretty significant nerf.
Yeah.
Means his weak laning phase is weaker. How about an Unsealed Spellbook to make it slightly better?
Okay, we have a TP coming in. Now it's the story of the survival of Smeb. And the rest of his team, they're going for the Baron. You see BBQ's not going to have Azir. They're not even going to get Smeb. Even with this Frozen Mallet, they can't get on top of him. Trick nearby now, looking for the steal, but he's a little bit far. He's going to try to jump, and he gets knocked up by the Alistar. Perfectly done by Mana in position.
Smeb's here.
Denies it. Here comes Smeb. We see him. This time he's going to be running away again, and down he goes. Unfortunate spot for you, buddy.
Smeb tried to be the Kool-Aid man, saying, I'm over here, died instantly, but they were able to pick up the objective, and credit for his escape earlier. That was really good goaltending by Mata, who understood that, well, it's going to be an R-Evolve first. Kha'Zix put down the control ward, dealt with him, so knew he was around the area for the Pulverize. Here's the replay. Pulverized, remember, he wouldn't have had vision. Control wards and invisibility have changed. Smeb showing up was a little bit tone deaf for what was happening here.
Yeah. Definitely could have chosen a safer ward, but what he wanted to do was get behind and start a big team fight. That's not what everybody else was doing.
I'm sure in comms he's saying, I'm the shot caller. I said we were going in, but
yeah.
I don't know if the rest of his team will listen to that particular shot call. But they got the hard objective, and in the end, whenever you send 2 threats bot lane to kill a gangplank, it always is a bit yakety sax. Not picking up the kill accentuates that, and you give up Baron control. So well done by KT on that objective.
So now that they have the Baron buff, they're going to come up towards the top side and begin to take out all of that vision that BBQ had in their red side jungle.
No one really wants to enter the same lane as Ezreal, 5 items, and also the Relic Shield upgrade. So probably a Bloodthirster short of full items.
Ooh, trying to make a move here onto Pog. Forces the Ghost and the Flash away.
Meanwhile,
Deft doesn't care about anyone or anything. That's not a turret. Okay, finally begins to turn, but still getting to work. Kind of barrage comes in, and everybody on BBQ's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. 1 turret goes down, and make that 2. We're going to have a 3rd in the mid lane. It does eventually come down here.
Ezreal's a one-man poke comp. When you're as good as Deft is on this champion, they're pushing up mid lane, base broken in 2 spots in an instant.
Yeah, not as fast as game 1, but looking very dominant after 30 minutes here by KT. They're making this work. In comes Mata. Says, get the hell away or pay for it.
Well, they pay for it anyway. Even if they didn't buy anything, they lose 2 inhibitors. They back away here, KT Rolster. Ostensibly 1 push away from the end of the game, but we've said that many times and been wrong this week.
Yeah. This is kind of the game we were expecting for game 2, you know? Dominant game 1. In game 2, BBQ hunkers down a little bit, doesn't die as fast, but then eventually KT wins, but still don't know exactly what was going through the mind of KT with their draft in game 2.
We do know what was going exactly through the minds of Deft in game 3. Remember his smile about, what, 38 minutes ago? He was just seeing the future.
Yeah.
He's 6 items now, got a Mortal Reminder for his Relic Shield upgrades. The Targon's the Mortal Reminder. He is super, super strong, and that's why his damage number was insane.
Mana picked up Futures Market. I saw negative gold on him currently.
One of the first we've seen in the LCK, actually. Been a very unpopular rune choice here, even though it has obvious power and someone like Rolster doesn't get to back as often as he wants to.
Yeah.
Very often, if you have a weak laning phase, you're forced to back as Rolster, so extra gold to spend is a nice thing.
It can get you a lot faster, you know, key items, right? Like the mobility boots as well. Just make him a presence earlier out on the map by taking a rune like that.
Just push out control wards, push out Baron minions and just losing turrets left, right, and center.
Yeah, this is getting pretty comical at this point. I mean, they're 12,000 gold ahead now. Chain of Corruption goes wide.
2 Mountain Drakes as well, Valdez.
Yeah. They're looking for the end here. But waiting for that wave. They've run out of Baron at this point. Looking for an opportunity here is Mata and Score. Will go on the first member they see. Deft even Arcane shifting forward. Try to get this down here.
Mata doesn't have flash, but you know he's getting the itchy trigger finger. He definitely wants to engage soon.
Yeah, looking for an opportunity here. Oh, nice silence, hitting a couple of them. Cannon Barrage comes in, double knockup, followed up by Mata. Getting in there, nobody's gonna die just yet, but they push them back, and oh, okay. Cannon to the face, down goes Ignar. And even the True Shot Barrage to do a little bit of extra damage on the back of that. They're making the final push here, going in towards the Nexus turrets. Not the best turtle comp here from BBQ, and they're very far behind.
And it may have the Azir, but not a super powered Azir just yet. Deft also can sidestep the soldiers so easily. One Nexus turret down. KT continues to push. Flash back up on Mata in a second.
Chain of Corruption that time does hit, but does not link. And looks like that's going to do it. Oh, the instant Nether Grasp. don't even show up there, says Pawn. Get the hell out of here. Jumping on in. Going to take out 2 more members. They want to get as many kills as possible before this game ends. Down it goes, and KT will take the victory 2-1.
KT Rolster decided they wanted to play an extra game of League of Legends, and Game 3 was very KT Rolster-esque in the end. It reminded me of 2017. The moment that KT get an inch, they take a mile. Good play from them there. Deft certainly the MVP of Game 3. Doing a bit of a Faker impression, playing with his own basketball on the Ezreal. Wherever he went, so did other kills. Turrets went down in an instant. KT Rolster will not feel good about the fact that they couldn't add 2 to their game score. Well put for you, Bal.